A multi-million-dollar makeover for the river terminal. Barbadians marched today denouncing violence. And in sports, Wesley Hall and Bailey's Primary to meet in this year's Herman Griffith Final.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
Good evening, I'm Michelle Arthur with the CBC Evening News for this Wednesday, November 25th. The river terminal is to undergo a major transformation. It's being turned into a modern minibus and ZR facility with a canopy for commuters along with loading bays. Work officially got underway this morning at what was once part of the old Queen's College School. Minister of Transport Michael Lashley says refurbishment work is expected to cost $3.5 million and should be completed within 6 months.
The refurbished building will consist of 3 floors. On the ground floor, there will be a commuter waiting area with seating, cover access to buses, a police outpost, that's important, public toilets, and an information section and advertising space. The first floor will host the Transport Authority staff, and this will consist of offices, a conference room, reception, a waiting area, and toilet facilities, while additional offices will be on the second floor. This project coincides with the government's overall initiative to revitalize Bridgetown such that it becomes a first-world city by 2025.
Mr. Lashley also revealed that 2 other terminals are to be constructed in Bridgetown.
We will move to the construction of a new bus terminal facility at Seaview, which has been approved by Cabinet and expected to cost over $3.2 million, and also a new facility at Fairchild Street, which will be funded by CAF.
Interim Chairman of the Association of Public Transport Operators, Maurice Lee, has welcomed the upgrade, saying it's long overdue.
Today is a day to be celebrated because government has finally heeded calls for terminal upgrades that date back, and I note, to a time beyond the conceptualization of the St. John Polyclinic that we celebrated its opening recently as the David Thompson Polyclinic in St. John. That is how long calls were being made for attention to be given to the development of public transport terminals in Bridgetown.
Mr. Lee also wants government to consider offering concessions to the PSV sector,
as these incentives are not only necessary but long overdue, as operators have no control over the setting of bus fares that are legislated by law.
Some local patients can expect a day of free medical checkups when the Chinese Navy hospital ship Ark Peace visits Barbados this weekend. The medical staff on board the vessel usually treat and transfer patients at sea, among other things. Acting Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, David Babulia, says the staff is keen to help Barbadian patients.
Desire on the part of the People's Republic of China to provide health services while the ship was in port added a new dimension to the visit, in the sense that that is not typical when military vessels, even hospital ships, visit Barbados. In most instances, so far as we could recall, they have only been here for shore leave. But the personnel on board the vessel will, after a process of discussion with the Ministry of Health and the Barbados Defense Force, we've been able to work out the arrangements for specific categories of medical services to be provided and to specific designated patients.
Will be the first ever visit to Barbados by a Chinese Navy vessel since diplomatic ties were established in 1977. The political counselor in the Embassy of the People's Republic of China says the free treatment is not all Barbadians can look forward to.
It is also the first time that a foreign medical hospital ship provides medical services to the Barbadian public. During the visit, the hospital ship will hold a range of events featuring military and health, cultural exchanges and communications with the Ministry of Health, BDF, and other Barbadian counterparts. In addition to the free medical checkups, the ship will be open to public tours.
Scores of people came out today to collectively denounce acts of violence against women and girls and violent acts in general. It was all part of an initiative spearheaded by the Women in Development Unit, or WAND, of the University of the West Indies Open Campus. Temporary tutor and coordinator at the Open Campus, Nancy Jacobs, talked about the march which started from the campus Pine compound. Ms. Jacobs said another event will be held tomorrow.
At 5:30 at the Barbados Community College Liberal Arts Auditorium, we have this screening of a documentary called Monday's Girls, which will be looking at the traditional versus the modern individuality of ensuring women are knowledgeable about themselves and their entrance into the society as women, as wives, and as mothers.
Acting Principal and Pro-Vice Chancellor of the Open Campus, Dr. Luz Longsworth, said the event was important in raising awareness.
Well, the UWI Open Campus, through its Women and Development Unit, is very pleased to be a part of today's march for the elimination of violence against women and girls. This is a very important issue. This is actually referred to as a pandemic, and we need to treat it as such, as a disease that really needs concentrated effort and funding to be able to stamp out violence against women and girls, and indeed against everyone in our societies.
Well, the messages were clear. Ungodly versions of family life and marriage will never overtake what was created by God. This, as several church leaders made their positions known during a rally held under the theme Defending Family, Faith and Freedom, as we hear from Kishmar Sinjus.
Hundreds of Christians, some armed with placards who are passionate about preserving the traditional family structure, came together, taking over the Bay Street Esplanade. Praise were offered to the nation as speaker after speaker criticized the route Barbados is taking. Sociologist Dr. Veronica Evelyn suggests that smaller countries like ours are being misguided by the bigger, richer nations, and she has declared enough is enough.
Family, faith, and freedom are under severe and persistent attack in Barbados, the Caribbean, and across the world. Misguided by the erroneous concept of sexual rights, a handful of wealthy nations in North America and Europe have decided to turn the world upside down.
Family life consultant Reverend Hazenly Griffiths says the principle of marriage is under attack.
This strategic assault, unfortunately, often rides on the back of HIV/AIDS and is wrapped in the decorative cloak of stigma, discrimination, human rights, and tolerance. When one strips or begins to strip off the beautiful, quote-unquote, smoke screen, the real culprit is exposed.
Senior pastor with Restoration Ministries, Senator Reverend Dr. David Durant, says the church will not sit silent anymore as evil forces enter this nation. He says the best defense against the false teaching is a strong, offensive, dynamic faith in Jesus.
The sleeping giant has awakened. The church has decided to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Because she has been mandated to inspire, to infiltrate, to impact, and to ignite. We will ignite Barbados. We will ignite the parishes. We will ignite the communities.
Other topics of concern such as crime, violence and child abuse were highlighted and condemned. Kishmar Senjis, CBC News.
Those involved in criminal activity must understand that their actions will have a negative impact on Barbados' growth. As Barbados nears its 49th year of independence, Acting Chief of Staff of the Barbados Defense Force, Commander Errington Sherlin, is reminding Barbadians of understanding how loyalty to country relates to everyday activities. He was speaking at Arthur Smith's Founders Day service, which was preceded by a parade. Parents were also there to support the event.
One of the important things about being part of an independent country like Barbados is helping your country to grow. And if you consider all the points that I had mentioned earlier about loyalty, I'm hoping that you would realize that those are the things that would make us good citizens, good members of society in Barbados. And recently we've been hearing that crime is on the increase, about persons who are committing these crimes with the use of firearms. My question is, are those persons loyal sons and daughters of this country, Barbados?